Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome back. Hippo Cup number 4, the 4th edition of the best tournament in the world. I'm this one guy here to bring you our second day of the quarterfinals weekend. Getting started off this morning with a winner's bracket match between Team 14 UTC and Team Walf Oversleeps. In the top half of the bracket here today, got the overall number 1 seed of the tournament and the odds-on favorites in the eyes of many to win the whole thing. Captain Bobby Vache, joined by Denar, Nezzer, Sigi, Miles, Malteser, Iger, David, and Sheena Noriko. David with a very unfortunate username change that I am not going to actually use at all ever. He's just going to continue to be David. On the other side, Team Walf Oversleeps, another one of the top seeds, the number 11 overall seed. Captain Walfred, joined by Goose Fedora, Rexies, Shane Liang, James Naismith, Ansenth, Fuma, and Kitty. Another one of those teams that I think many would expect to have a pretty decent run in this tournament. You know, I think quarterfinals is a pretty reasonable expectation for those guys. And they'll be looking to continue onward, but 14 UTC, of course, very stern opponent standing in their way. The presumptive, you know, quote-unquote best team in the tournament on paper, 14 UTC. They're pretty good at this Osu thing, you know? And they're going to get started off in their first warm-up here. Selected by Walf Oversleeps is Rexies, it looks like. Little Nekomata Master warm-up. This is our first match, of course, of the day. A rather tragic schedule today. We have one match right now at 14 UTC. We have 2 matches in an hour at 15 UTC. Then 2 matches at 17 and 1 at 17:30 UTC. So despite the fact that there's 5 matches today, or 6 matches today, excuse me, I'm going to be able to stream 2 of them. Unless this match goes very, very fast. This is the last weekend that this will be really, I think, a big issue for, since we have so many fewer matches going forward. I still will only be probably streaming that many, but it'll be a higher percentage of the total. And we do get the nice matchup next weekend of 8 Angry Men versus 8 Cute Boys, which guarantees at least one relatively evening matchup, which means that's like one match that's pretty much guaranteed not to overlap with all of the others that have to be at the same time of day. The winner of this versus the winner of our second match today is probably just going to end up being at like 14 or 15 UTC again. So, you know, we're just going to be running into the same sort of problems. This tournament feels a lot like Sweet Spring Cup, where every match just ends up being in the exact same time range, which, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it's also kind of lame for trying to stream as many matches as we'd like to. But, you know, priorities here today on the 2 winners bracket matches, so make sure to get both those quarterfinals in. We'll have 3 of the 4 quarterfinals on stream. Obviously, the one remainder was the match that was forfeited by Team Gugu. And that was a nice little first warm-up there. Encounter. You love Nekomata Master, dude. That's actually a Pishy Fat map. I didn't realize. From back in 2018. Excuse me, 2018. I almost said 2016. That would have been incorrect. But yeah, so following this match, 15 UTC matches, Colon 3 versus Bad Kittens, and Alerta de Afe versus GG Dogs. Those couple of the losers bracket round 3 matchups. 17 UTC has Bleakvet versus No Spamming in the losers bracket, Ramsing versus Osu True Skill in the winners bracket. And then 1730 UTC, because I guess we have to be really specific about our scheduling, is I Love Tateyama versus Greg. So, a little bit unfortunate that all those teams decided they needed to play at the exact same time. But there we are. That'll be our schedule of events for today. So we'll have 14 UTC versus Walf Oversleeps, Ramsing versus O2 True Skill as the stream schedule. And then maybe pick up part of either Colon 3 versus Bad Kittens or Alert Today Afe versus GG Dogs after this one ends. Again, it's kind of going to depend on how long this one takes. If 14 UTC plays as well as they're capable of, I could see this going pretty quickly. But Walf Oversleeps, pretty solid team with a relatively high skill cap. A lot of those players do scale quite well into these later rounds when the pools start hitting the 7-star range. So I think, you know, there's definitely the potential for this to be a pretty competitive affair, especially compared to some of the previous matches for 14 UTC that really were not all that close. Of course, they didn't play a match last weekend. They won by forfeit there over the Polish team, who kind of half tempted to just blacklist from the tournament, but we'll figure that out internally. And then previous to that, they'd won 6-0 in the round of 32. I think they dropped one map. No, they dropped no maps in the group stage. So have not dropped a map yet in this tournament, but it's kind of unfair because they've only actually played 4 instead of 5 matches. For their part, Walf Oversleeps have been performing quite well also. Obviously 3-0 in their group. Did have one tough match in their group that was a 5-3 against their higher seed opponent. 6-0 in the round of 32 over the super team. 6-4 in a pretty back and forth battle in the round of 16 last weekend against Weekvets, who themselves are obviously a very strong team, still alive in that losers bracket, playing a little later on today. So I do think that the potential is there for this to be a pretty good match, but the problem is that 14 UTC is just really, really strong on paper, and I think probably the best scaling team, or at least one of the best scaling teams in this tournament, you know. Some of these guys, you know, play open rank a lot. Most of the guys at the top teams in this tournament play open rank a lot, and so they're facing off against the toughest opponents on the toughest map pools, and frequently perform quite well. You know, you've got OWC players on this squad as well. You know, Denier, Nezzer, Malteser, Iger, David, Shinoriko. I think all OWC players. Vivace, very nearly an OWC player. I would call him. He was probably like a top alternate for the Australia team. Sigi, of course, from a country that doesn't have an OWC team, and Miles from the USA. Well, sucks to suck if you're from the USA, because you just have to be ridiculously good to even have a vague chance at making the OWC team. A little ridiculous how strong this particular country is, but point being, 14 UTC has one of the strongest rosters out of this whole tournament, if not the strongest roster. And that is both warm-ups done. So we're going to go into the ban phase. Walf Oversleeps with the first ban after winning the Roll First Ban's second pick awarded to that team. We've been seeing a few relatively common bans. We've been seeing a lot of hidden 2 bans from teams that don't like that super low approach rate on Love Lab Poison. A lot of teams banning out Jazz's Rad from the free mod pool. We've seen some No Mod 2 bans, Bon Appetit S. Those are very lengthy 210 BPM streams. Require a certain skill set that not everybody has. So, and then, you know, other than that, it's kind of choice bans. You know, if you're not the best at speed, maybe you ban like Nomad 2 and Double Time 2, or Double Time 1 even, Xiaolong Bao or ACIL, both of those requiring a fair amount of speed and finger control. Honestly, the Nomad 5, despite it being the erstwhile speed map, not really something that I see teams banning out, even if they aren't the most comfortable on speed. I'm expecting that one to probably stay up in most cases. But, you know, obviously, team by team kind of varies as far as your priorities in the ban phase, whether you're trying to ban out your own weaknesses or trying to ban out an opponent's strength, or just something you don't like. So there is going to be the Nomad 2 ban from Walf Oversleeps. So that will be Bon Appetit S removed from the pool, availability for this match. I don't know that I would necessarily peg 14 UTC as an incredibly strong 210 BPM Nomad 2 team. Obviously, they'll do fine on it. They'll have a roster for anything in this pool, but that is not necessarily like what I would think of as their instant strength. However, I think they'll do well in everything, so it's whatever. They are going to go ahead and ban out Hidden 3. I think it's a little bit targeted at a couple players on Walf Oversleeps, like Walfred, like maybe Fuma Kitty. That very finger control, precision kind of cursor control aim pick. Spiral is a map that we saw a fair amount of yesterday. That there are just a lot of sections. We discussed this with Wowie on the stream, as somebody who's a very good hidden and kind of cursor control reading player himself. There's just a lot of sections that are very easy to miss on. The main body of the map is even, you have to have a certain amount of consistency in reading on, and then when you get into those tricky, like the wiggle streams and such, and then that drum solo near the end, a lot of places you can break really easily, and it's tough to be pretty consistent on. We didn't see a whole lot of people showing a high degree of proficiency with that map, maybe 2 or 3 guys like Thunder, Wowie, Taquito, some of the kind of exceptions. Trail Mix as well, for people who can do really well on that map, but otherwise it's a pretty short list. So getting rid of that map that is so tough to be comfortable and confident and consistent on, not the most surprising. And then yeah, it is going to be the free mod 1 ban from Walf Oversleeps, so that is going to be Jazz's Rad. I'm so sad, because I don't think I'm going to get to see that map a single time this entire weekend. I'm going to stream like 6 or 7 matches, and it's just going to be permabanned. It's such a cool song, and it's such a banger, and the map is like kind of in, so nobody wants to play it. To be frank, the only free mod that I have seen at all, and this is streaming, I believe, 4 matches yesterday, and again 2 or 3 today. So far through those first 4 matches, the only free mod I've seen is free mod 3. Jazz's Rad has been more or less permabanned, and Stoicism free mod 2 has just been ignored completely by literally everyone. So kind of an unfortunate set of affairs that we're ignoring that much of that part of the pool, but it is what it is. And with maps that are that uncomfortable for a lot of the players, you can kind of expect to see that happen. And lastly, we will go into the final ban from 14 UTC. After banning out Hidden 3, I wonder, do they want to get rid of kind of the alt stuff? Do they leave Lost Umbrella up? They do, in fact. It is going to be the Nomad 5 ban. So discussing that as something that you don't ban because of the speed, but maybe you ban because it's kind of just an uncomfortable map. That ending is really kind of wonky, to say the least. I think what 14 UTC is doing with their bans is kind of trying to get rid of the uncomfortable picks for them. So Hidden 3, Nomad 5, just maps that it's tough to be super comfy and consistent on. But their first pick will be coming, and we'll see what they kind of want to do to get started in this matchup. I think, they're a team that can really pick from anything in the pool. So whether they want to go something mechanics like a Nomad 1 or a Hard Rock 1, or if they want to go something that's got a lot of different difficulty aspects to it, it's going to be Double Time 1. We've seen this first picked a couple times, in fact. So that is Meme's Xiaolong Bao, the another difficulty. The shortest map in the pool at just 1 minute and 10 seconds long. It is a 263 BPM, kind of burst stamina finger control type of thing. And this is going to test how well warmed up people are, because starting off with 263 BPM, you want to make sure that you're good to go for that early on. And so we'll get the lineups in. See who ends up playing on this one. Obviously, Malteser coming right in for 14 UTC, their resident speed specialist. I think Shinnoriko probably as well. Looks like Vivace and Denier Nezer is the 2. Yep, there is going to be Shinnoriko. Maybe not Denier Nezer. Maybe it won't be CLP. We'll find out here shortly, it looks like. Goosador looks less than pleased, perhaps, by the prospect of Double Time 1. I love the Double Time mod. So happy this got picked. Perhaps he is being sarcastic. He's using the sarcasm modifier. We're gonna get looks like Goose Fedora, Fuma, Anseth, and probably Shane Liang. And it is going to be Denier Nezzer as the fourth for 14 UTC. So we do have 4 on either side, which means we should be set to go. And the GLHF's coming out. So here we go. 14 UTC versus Walf Oversleeps, quarterfinal match number 1 in the bracket, top half, top section. First pick, 14 UTC, double time number 1, Vivace Malteser, Sheena Noriko, and Denier Nezzer taking on Goose Fedora, Shane Liang, Anseth, and Rexes. 14 UTC looking to get off to a fast start, both literally and figuratively here on their first selection. We'll see how it goes for them. Walf Oversleeps. Try to play spoiler. Give them the first map loss they'll have had in this tournament, possibly. We're going to find out how the confidence and strength on this type of map is going to be feeling for these teams very early on. And, well, that's several breaks already for both teams. Vivace Malteser, Goose Fedora, Shane Liang, Anseth, Sheena Noriko all breaking. It is Denier Nezzer versus Rexes, and they both break as well. There are no FCs left across the entire map. And fortunately for 14 UTC, they had a little bit of extra combo in that beginning. We're able to establish a 2 million point lead, and already halfway through, Malteser reaccruing some combo here as well as Vivace, so they should be okay to hold on this one, especially with a few more breaks coming in from Walf Oversleeps. Just Goose Fedora with a 300 combo, but he is being matched by Vivace, so this is going to be 14 UTC. Looking to take their first pick, not maybe as comfortable as they would have liked. They probably would have liked to see an FC on this, but it's not going to be the end of the world. Just a couple breaks here and there from their top players on that one. And that is a 5 million point victory to start things off. Said, started off fast, man. Shortest map in the pool, first pick, and it goes their way. The S rank does come in from Denier Nezzer. Best combo will go over to Vivace. And the 1-0 first pick quickly in their pocket. Malteser, one break, but one miss, but also a couple of slider breaks, it would appear, based on that low max combo. So the expected best speed player on that team ends up getting the worst combo. Did have a slightly better score than Sheena Noriko, which is interesting because, I mean, those are the two players on that team that I would think of as like the speed players, Malteser and Noriko, but you know, Malteser showing his comfort with the accuracy, just wasn't able to get the combo where it would have liked to have been. But it's not going to be the worst thing for either team. 14 UTC going to have that early, quick 1 point. Walf Oversleeps, though, will get their own first pick. We'll see how they feel. They seemed maybe a little bit confused about what they wanted to pick in, or what they wanted to ban out. So maybe, you know, it's going to require some discussion on their picks here. I can't decide if I think that team is actually organized or not from the way they talk in the all chat, as it were. It's very hard to get a feel. But I think we'll find out relatively quickly over the course of this match how the teams are feeling going into this one and on this new pool and everything, which is one of the harder quarterfinals pools that anyone's probably likely to ever see. I mean, it's not every day that you see a quarterfinals pool with a 7.5 star Nomad 1. That being said, I mean, the Nomad 1 is a little bit higher star rating than I think most of the other picks. I mean, like the Hard Rock one, which is usually similar star rating to the Nomad one, is only 7.09 stars. Hidden one, only 7 stars. But I think the pool seems relatively balanced from what I've seen on it, so not a big deal there. I think it's fair to make Nomad 1 a little higher star rating anyway, even compared to the other AIM maps, I should say. Like, obviously it's always going to be higher star rating, but even contextually. But it's literally just raw mechanics. Can you fling your cursor back and forth across the screen? First pick for Walf Oversleeps is in. It's going to be free mod number 3. Of course, you need me. This is the free mod that I discussed as having seen quite a bit. This is the only free mod that's really been getting picked with any degree of consistency in the matches. A relatively balanced but slightly hard rock favored, very speedy free mod pick. Takes us back to, I believe, 2012, 2013. So, you know, you kind of get that slightly older mapping style that's very indicative of the era. You know, it doesn't take you all the way back to like 2008, 2009 or anything like that. But it's very much emblematic of the time period where we weren't just making jumps for PP, it was making jumps for like interesting kind of patterning to play that to some is very comfortable and to some is not very comfortable. You know, it definitely doesn't hold the same degree of comfort as more modern maps, but if you're somebody that plays a lot of this era of mapping, you'll see some similarities, and you'll see some things come up pretty regularly on several of the mappers from that time period. I think it's a very identifiable mapping period, and this shows up in this map, both with some of the sliders, some of the aim patterns, the way the bursts and streams are mapped as well. And so it's going to come down on this one to, you know, who can be consistent, I think, over the course of the map, because there's a lot of places you can break, both on the aim and on the speedy bursts. I think we'll probably see a couple hiddens here, actually. You've got Noriko in. He's going to almost definitely be running hidden. Walfred on hidden, as well as Rexy's. Vivace and Malteser both running hard rock for 14 UTC, so they are overmodding by 1. Denier Nezzer, the only no mod there. Walf Oversleeps just going with the 2 hiddens, 2 no mod strat, so we'll see how the overmod plays out for 14 UTC. I think they'll probably do fine because this is a pretty hard rock, not super hard rock favorite map, but it's comfortable with hard rock. I would argue more so than hidden for anyone that's not a hidden main. But we're going to get into it and see what happens here, expecting some pretty good plays on this one, but I don't know that we've seen... I don't know if I've personally seen any full combos on this map. You get just some easy little combo breaks, whether it's a slider break like Noriko and Rexy's just found, or, you know, maybe misaiming a jump or having a little trouble with one of the streams. The overmod serving 14 UTC well so far, as they do have the lead at this 1/3 mark by just about a 500,000 point margin. You get what amounts to a little bit of freer combo here in this middle portion of the map. Vivace and Malteser both holding on very well with their hard rock. Denier Nezzer comfortable on the no mod. There is a break from Malteser though, so now it's going to be 3 FCs to 2. No, it's going to be 2 FCs to 1 now, as Fuma and Walfred both break. Noriko breaking again, but Vivace and Denier Nezzer still on the FCs for 14 UTC. That's 1 hard rock and 1 no mod FC. Gusadora now the only FC left for Walf Oversleeps. 350 combo from Rexy is behind him. But that's going to give 14 UTC a pretty sizable advantage. Noriko does find another break, but so does Rexy's, so does Gusadora, Malteser, and Denier Nezzer. Wow, that is just a lot of breaks. So it is Vivace with the FC for 14 UTC. Has to hold on here. It's only a 4 million point lead, and he does break, but the only combo left now on Walf is going to be on Fuma with about 375. That's not enough to pull this all back by himself, and a break from him as well. This very tricky, kind of technically demanding section of the map here, about the 2/3 mark, does strike fear into the hearts of men, as everyone breaks in that section, maybe excluding Denier Nezzer. But this is just a very tough map to combo, and you can see the effects there. A lot of misses in that second third of the map. And Vivace still in the S rank, doing very well for himself with the hard rock. Obviously did have a couple slider breaks, but has the score in hand to keep 14 UTC in the lead alongside Denier Nezzer's 300 combo. Just not a lot of combo on Walf, unfortunately, to try and make a run at this lead in the last moments of the map. And this is looking ever more like it's going to be an early break point here for 14 UTC. They just look a little bit better. You know, it's not like them just drastically stronger than their opponents, with the lead only being 5 million points on V1. That's not some huge margin, but it was just enough here and there. Those scores from Vivace and Denier Nezzer really proving the difference makers on that one, and we do get the early break point for 14 UTC on that first Walf Oversleeps pick. It is 2-0, and that is a 1 miss from Vivace, a 1 miss from Denier Nezzer with a 99% accuracy. Very, very solid stuff from him. Those are the two best scores on the map as well. Shiina Noriko, not the best performance, but that really is a much less friendly hidden map. So looking like he probably had trouble with a few streams there, judging by that miscount. Goose Fedora with the 10 million. Going to be the best that Walf Oversleeps could muster up on that pick. Perhaps not an optimal first pick. But works out for 14 UTC, and they're just going to roll their way down the DT pool, it looks like. We're going to get double time number 2 as their second pick. Is this speed abuse? Double mod pick is allowed, question mark? It's the quarterfinals, my dude. You have literally played 5 matches in this tournament. How do you not already know that? It's in the forum post, and you've played 5 matches on this rule set. I knew that. I was just testing the ref. All right. General rule of thumb, don't test the ref, who is, I believe, the only pure referee in the community that has a contributor badge for reffing. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not the type of person you need to feel the need to test. But it's all good. We're gonna get another DT pick here. Another kind of similar. You know, it's gonna be some speed and finger control required on this one. And so this is another type of map that I'm expecting 14 UTC to be pretty comfortable with. Walf Oversleeps, obviously, you know, picking the free mod 3 feel like they're probably pretty comfortable on speed, but I think 14 UTC just kind of outshines them. There are a couple of teams left in the tournament, I think, who can challenge on speed. Maybe 8 Angry Men, maybe Bad Kittens. But otherwise, 14 UTC will most likely just look really good on this skill set against a lot of the opponents, and Walford is still playing the previous map. It's going to be Sigi, Malteser, David, and Denier Nezer against Goose Fedora, Fuma, Walford, and Rexes. So we do get a couple of roster changes for 14 UTC, despite picking within the same skill set twice in a row. We'll see if Malteser can curb those slider breaks from the previous DT pick from them. This one is all about the finger control. The doubles into quints. Very, very tough. The BPM not incredibly high, but what it lacks for in raw speed, it makes up for in really needing to have that finger independence, you know? We talk about limb independence in drumming. This is about finger independence in Osu. Couple breaks coming out early on from Walf Oversleeps, Goose Fedora, and Walfrid. Fuma following them up, so just Rexes left with a combo on that side. Meanwhile, Malteser, Sigi, and David, all with the FCs still alive for 14 UTC. Accuracy more or less irrelevant, but Denier Nezer does have the 97%, which is very, very impressive on this pick. Up over 98, in fact, and there's the last break coming out from Rexes for Walf Oversleeps. This is going to be a pretty easy 14 UTC point again, it looks like. Already up by 7 million, just about. And that's only going to continue to grow as Fuma and Walford find another couple breaks. Get into these longer streams. It's almost more comfortable, depending on who you are, compared to the doubles. Did see a break from David, but Malteser, Sigi still going strong. Sigi just is the man who does not rust, and it seems that Malteser may be similar. Both not super, super active lately in tournaments, but obviously both showing up and performing in this one. And that is going to be a decisive victory on ACIL. The double FC coming in from Sigi and Malteser. Denier Nezer just the one miss, and David with the slider break. Nothing Walf Oversleeps did could even come close to matching that. It does appear that despite... Let's see. Despite how short the map was, you could get a 2v4 from Malteser, Sigi, Malteser, Denier Nezer, Sigi, Denier Nezer. So that's a pretty impressive performance from them. Double F seeing that one is no easy task. And we are next going to go into a completely different pick. So we're going to really switch up the skill set here. We're going to go 2 DTs and a speedy free mod. And now we're going to go into the snap aim alt pick in the no mod pool, Lost Umbrella. A song that I think a lot of people are going to be familiar with, of course, both from seeing it a lot yesterday and from back when this was in OWC, albeit by a different, I believe, different vocalist, different version of the song. But the song still sounds pretty much the same. Walf Oversleeps saying, all right, we've had enough of this. We're going to try and switch it up a bit here and see if we can't have better luck in a different type of map. And we're going to see, I think, a few different player changes here. You're going to see Shane Liang coming in, Iger coming in for 14 UTC. He's going to FC this. Just don't even worry. Just don't even bother watching his screen. Iger's going to FC. Noriko, David, and Sigi, the other 3 for 14 UTC. Goose Fedora, Anseth, and Rexy is rounding out the roster for Walf Oversleeps. Noriko saying, BRB. I'm not sure what he's got going on. We'll find out. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. All right, Noriko is back, so that was a real BRB. Racer Rose version of this is probably better, I think. They're both good, though. I like both. No complaints either way. It's a good song, so it's just, you know. This vocal style is a little weird. It sounds like... I'm gonna sound like typical Osu community member saying this, but it literally sounds like, I don't know, like a 12-year-old singing it or something. Anyway, we should be able to get going here. GLHF's coming out in chat, so the countdown probably on. And in will go map number 4, Walf Oversleep's second pick as they look for their first point on the board. Have to think that they're considering that, you know, they wanted to switch up the skill set a lot on this one. Hello? Ancho? Okay, are we gonna load? Are we gonna load? Are we loading? Hello? The year is 2021. OSU tournaments have been occurring for literally 8 years, and we still have Bancha lag every single weekend. I think we're good though. Everybody appears to be loaded in. Just, yep, okay, we are good. It just took a really long time. So we're gonna wait for Iger and Goose Fedora to play catch up, and we're gonna have a little weird scene here probably at the end of the map. But all set, map underway. Lost Umbrella has begun. And again, you know, this is a type of map that there's plenty of people in this lobby who are going to be pretty comfortable with. So I think we'll probably get some pretty good performances. It's going to be early lead Walf Oversleeps. They're really the first lead, I think, of the match. Thanks to that break from Sigi. These verses are going to be pretty player-friendly. Not a lot you're going to break on here, so as long as you can hold to this part, you got a good shot at least making it to the Ki. Unless you're Rexy's and you find a break. Unless you're Shang Liang and you also find a break. Okay. So, my favorite phrase to use when discussing the United States team in OSU World Cup is that if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. And that is kind of the same case here for 14 UTC as well. You just can't let up against them, because if you break, they will probably not break also. Maybe 1 versus 2 breaks or something like that, but they're just always going to have somebody with a combo. And we do see a break from Iger, so the FC will not be forthcoming from him, but Noriko and David still on the FCs, and Sigi with pretty sizable combo at the early break. There is a break from David as well, so it's going to make things a little more interesting now. It's actually going to be the lead going back over to Walf Oversleeps here shortly. Shin Noriko with a break as well. Goose Fedora matching him, but Anseth still in the FC, and Shane and Rexy's with some big combos, so that's going to help the lead go over to the side of Walf Oversleeps. So I should clearly hold my tongue because I have spoken too soon regarding the nature of 14 UTC and their ability to keep a combo up. And oh my goodness, that's a lot of breaks. Okay, who Ansenth, Rexys, Shane Liang, Sheena Noriko, David, and Sigi all missing on that square pattern. Eiger and Goose Fedora are the only ones keeping up through it. Eiger, though, doubling the combo of his opponent. So he may be able to work on bringing this deficit back because it is only 1,000,000 points, and that 200 extra combo for Eiger is enough to bring that much of a gap back with fully a quarter of the map still to come. As long as he can keep the combo up, that's going to be the important part, is which of those two players will hold on in this last chorus of the map. Goose Fedora breaks, and Ansenth as Xingliang also. The lead is just going to fly on over to 14 UTC now. Eiger basically uncontested, 670 combo, the only person with a big combo in the map. The only person even close to him, Rexys at 300. Everyone else at or around 100 combo. And this is just going to be coming home for 14 UTC. Yeah, I remember how I mentioned Eiger was going to see this. Well, he did find the break, but he's been fine other than that, and he does have the best accuracy of anyone by a pretty considerable margin. Eiger truly coming into his own over the last year or so. People know him from multi. Well, you're going to get to know him in tournaments as well, I think, after his performance in OWC and his performance in this tournament looking like it's going to be pretty strong as well, as he does put on the carry performance here for 14 UTC, bringing them back from a deficit in that last verse and Ki into a winning position, top scoring that one by about 4,000,000 points, holding on when Goose Fedora and Ansenth couldn't. And that is another break point for 14 UTC and a 4-0 lead now. They are firmly in the driver's seat here. Yeah, 1/100, 2 misses. Eiger, as it turns out, pretty good at the video game. And this is just the type of stuff that he excels on. The guy is incredible at kind of niche skill sets. I mean, and just keeping combo. And obviously his accuracy up there as well, right? 1/100, like that's nuts. I believe this map, not the highest OD, but I mean, who cares, you know? Yeah, it's OD7, so like the accuracy is kind of a bit of a foregone conclusion as long as you can play the map competently. See relatively low 100 counts on a lot of players, but nonetheless, 1/100 is never going to be unimpressive. And we're going to continue just speed abusing here on the side of 14 UTC. They're saying, all right, you guys left up the entire DT pool. We'll just pick the entire DT pool. It's going to be double time number 3 now, just going right on down the list into Il Vento di Oro. This one going to change things up a little bit. This is a very long DT pick, 3 minutes, 13 seconds, 2K combo, 203 average BPM, making it a little bit slower than the others. But we're gonna be seeing some stuff, I think. Only seen this personally one time over the matches I've been streaming. I know Kriller FC'd it in his match for Alerta de Afe. He won versus the world with that performance. And we'll see if anybody in this matchup can do something similar. 14 UTC just has so much momentum here, and they're just being allowed to pick just straight into their skill set over and over. I'm curious, you know, you always wonder, since you don't really get that behind the scenes type of information, you wonder, you know, if this was the planned strat going into this match, like we're gonna just spam pick double time, whether it's because we feel strong on it or we feel the opponents are weaker on it, or, you know, if it's just kind of opportunistic where you said, oh, these guys didn't ban out any DTs, well, let's go ahead and pick one, and then you win it, and you say, okay, let's go ahead and pick another one. You know, it's kind of just a developing strategy over the course of the match, or whether it was a predetermined thing, like this is what we want to do coming in. Hard to say for sure, but it's working out well for 14 UTC so far, winning both their previous DT picks and on their way here to hoping to get a third one. So in we're going to go with that in mind. Sheena Noriko, Malteser, and Vivace kind of constants on these DTs. Eiger staying in for this one. Perhaps a little surprising. Did not know he played 10.3. Goose Fedora, Fuma, Ansend, and Rexy is the roster for Walf Oversleeps. This is, it's like not Heart of Night. It's more of a, it's like a slider version of Heart of Night. Does that make sense? Like finger control slider aim. I think this DT pool is just all finger control slider aim. DT1 is speed finger control. DT2 is finger control with some longer streams. This one is like slider aim finger control. DT4 is just raw slider aim alt, I guess, so maybe that one a little different. But already a sizable lead here. 3 breaks coming in early on from Walf Oversleeps. Another one from Goose Fedora. Fuma again. Also, and sent the 1FC gone. Rexy's now there is no combo in Walf Oversleeps. So despite the breaks from Vivace and Malteser, Iger and Noriko holding on just fine. They're going to establish a pretty sizable lead here. Just about the 1/3 mark. Already a 9 million point lead with Sheena and Iger just doing their thing over on the 14 UTC side. Noriko does break. It's traded with Goose Fedora. Not that the trade really matters all that much considering the combo difference between them. And the combo discrepancy overall is just massive. Iger on a basically unopposed 850 combo, still FCing. Fuma and Senth trading with Malteser, Sheena. And there goes Goose Fedora again. Not going to be a lot to talk about in this one, I don't feel. This is a map that it does not look like Walf Oversleeps is comfortable with at all. And meanwhile, Iger and Vivace just chilling, you know? Vivace 99.26 accuracy. He's hanging out, man. He's having a good old time over in Australia. They just play the Osu, you know? Iger, though, still on that FC. We'll see how long that can last. It would be pretty remarkable to see another FC on this pick. But if anybody's capable of it, it is the combo master himself. Yeah, with the score being doubled in favor of 14 UTC, I think this one's basically a foregone conclusion at this point, despite there still being a third of the map to go. Kind of a discussion point on the downside of long maps on Score V1. You know, if one team is comfortable on a map and the other team isn't, and it's, you know, 3 minutes or, you know, no mod 5 minutes long, it just gets, it ends so early. You know, we talked about that last year. There was the alt pick, I think it was Konoyume Tomare or whatever, something along those lines. There's a break from Iger, will not be an FC from him. There's actually no combo at all on the side of 14 UTC, but there's none on Walf either, so it just doesn't matter. But yeah, you know, these long maps, you could just get this 60 million point lead, and it's just over. And there's still like half the map to play when the map was already determined. I almost feel like it's worse to have long maps in V1 than V2 for that exact reason. Because it's so easy for this sort of thing to happen where Iger is literally just going to 1v4. And it's been a foregone conclusion that 14 UTC was going to win the map basically since minute 1. That being said, Rexy and Fuma putting up some decent combo here in the back half of the map, but Iger, Sheena, and Noriko more than matching them. And that is going to do it. Yeah, that's a almost 70 million point win. 14 UTC, pretty dominant there once again. These DTs just not going well for Walf Oversleeps by any stretch of the imagination, unfortunately. .50 now the lead. Iger with the S rank as well as Sheena Noriko. Couple slider breaks to each of them, but yeah. If you didn't know the name Iger, well, if you followed OWC 2020, you should know the name Iger from that at least. And we're trying to make him a household name because this dude is very, very good. And obviously, Sheena Noriko, who has made himself something of a speed player with the matching S rank. Unfortunately, didn't have quite a comparable combo, but what difference does it really make at that point, huh? And so the next pick for Walf Oversleeps could be their last. Hopefully they can find something they're comfortable with. They'd like to at least get on the board here, you know? You want to make this a little more interesting, avoid that sweep. Very tricky, though, against 14 UTC, a team that can punish you for any pick you possibly select that isn't completely optimized. I almost think you just go, you just like kind of toss caution to the winds. You go like a no-mod 4 or hard rock 3 or something and just kind of hope for the best. Or even like free mod 2, for heaven's sake. Just You know, pick something that isn't mechanics. Pick something that has a high degree of miss ability on it. Hidden 2, there's an option. That's one that you can go for. So it is going to be Love Lab Poison. Anybody know how you're supposed to say this song title? Love Lab Poison 22-8? Like, what is that? What is that? What does that mean? This is our AR3 CS5 Hidden. And it is a map that very few people are going to be comfortable with, so maybe something that Walf Oversleeps can get a point on. Just maybe. I'd like to see it happen. They've got some good low AR players. Walf are going to come in. Fuma going to come in. 14 UTC, though. Strong hidden roster on their side also. Shinnoriko, obviously, very good at the low AR stuff. David, also very, very strong hidden player. You know, one interesting thing about this map, as Miles shows up, what the... I did not expect him for this. Anyway, one interesting thing about this map, you know, with it being such a low star rating, it's a very low OD map. And so you're actually more likely to just miss than you are to hit a 100 on this pick. I believe... yesterday, I forget who it was, but somebody had a 0-125 miss or 1-125 miss on this map. Because... with timing windows as wide as they are on this pick, like, it's just impossible to not hit a 300. I mean, it's OD3. So it's more or less impossible to hit a 100. But it's really easy to miss because it's hidden AR3. So it's pretty funny to watch. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if there was any pick that Walf Oversleeps was, you know, gonna feel like, hey, maybe we can just flip a coin on this one, I think this is it. This and Nomad 4 were both maps kind of along those same framework. So we'll see how it goes for the teams. Obviously, you know, we've seen some players very, very confident on this map. Will Stetson mode? No, Woey went SS mode on this. I wish Will Stetson were still around. He would have loved this one, but unfortunately was eliminated earlier on. I think Taquito... no, Leftovers? Was it Leftovers had like a 1-101 miss or something like that. So we'll find out who is comfortable with this pick and who's not, because I just don't know the answer to that question. And underway we go. Noriko, CLP, Miles, David against Fuma, Ansent, Walfred, Rexys. Walf Oversleeps on now their third pick. Gonna see if they can get a point on the board with something that is really out there. Walfred writing out help in smoke. Well, that's nice looking handwriting at least. He's got that going for him. Oh, Miles. Miles, you're not funny. Miles, you're not funny. Okay, Walfred actually can't play this. I guess I lied. And maybe neither can Ansent. Okay, well, early lead's gonna be 14 UTCs. Plenty of map to go. It's over 2 minutes long. CLP and Miles both do find a couple breaks. Walfred and Ansent trade them back. Fuma, Rexys still on the FCs. There goes David. Combo advantage is gonna go to Walf. Rexys and Fuma still doing their thing. I believe the lead should go over here with that double FC. As long as Rexys and Fuma hold on, Walf Oversleeps is going to maintain the advantage here. 62% D rank from Walfred. Okay, maybe I just was wrong. I thought he was good at gimmick maps. Maybe this is just beyond the realm of possibility for him. And there goes CLP. Lead is going to flip on over. Still about a third of the map to go, but this is looking ever more like a shot for Walf Oversleeps to hand 14 UTC their first map loss of the tournament. Denier Nezzer with yet another break. He's having some trouble in this one. Sheena Noriko still doing his thing up there, but... oh, there goes Rexys and Walfred and Seth. Oh, buddy. Wait, Sheena Noriko breaks as well. All right. Oh, but there goes Fuma also. Can David and Miles hold on to the combo enough to bring this one over? They do for now. And there's no combo on the side of Walf Oversleeps. Oh, you just hate to see it. Fuma shaking so hard. And it just I don't know that there's much that can be done now. 300 combo from David is with a 700,000 point lead should be enough. And it is going to be. That is 6-0 the lead now, 14 UTC. Push it to match point. Just the slider break from Sheena, one miss from David. And that's rough, buddy. That is rough. Walf Oversleeps will not, as of yet, put a point on the board. 14 UTC, still yet to lose a point in the tournament. However, did not have to play their round of 16 match, so you know, you can kind of put an asterisk next to that 0 points lost thing because they were the recipients of a forfeit win last week. So it is true that they have not lost a point, but they've also played an entire best of 11 less than everyone else that is still, well, almost everyone else that is still in the tournament. So now they will just look to close it out. Do they just go DT4? Do they just pick 4 straight double times, man? Is that the strat? I'd love to see that be the strat. The pick yet to come in here. Hopefully 14 UTC will have some in mind. It is going to be DT4, so they're just going 4 straight DTs. This is the double time pool any percent speed run here from 14 UTC. Yugure 1 room, Minor Sonex Insane, 6.45 star, 330 BPM. Hey guys, heard you liked slider alt maps in your double time pools and so we got you a 330 BPM alt DC 10.3 pick. Will we see the sweep here for 14 UTC on the backs of yet another DT? Dude, why are polls exclusive to affiliate and partner channels? That sucks. I want to have a poll, but I can't have a poll. So there are 2 matches at the same time as discussed coming up right after this one ends, which looks like it may be pretty shortly here. We'll get to see all of one or the other of them. The question is, do we want to see Colon 3 versus Bad Kittens? So that is the Taiwanese Hong Kong team, Spines Knight, Dazzlewind, Hibiki, Willie, Sky Blue, Ethan, Chiroyu, Tira, against Trail Mix, Lights Out, Fangzy, Thunder, Ramton, Vane, 5 Yoshi, and Sayo? Or do we want to see the other match, which is going to be Alerte de Afe versus GG Dogs, the number 2 overall seed, mainly Russian team, against Alerte de Afe, the all-German number 14 seed? Any feedback, post that up in the chat, and we'll decide on which match to stream once this one ends based on the input we see there. But first, we are going to get into DT number 4, Noriko, Iger, Vivace, Sigi against Shane Liang, Ansenth, Goose Fedora, and Rex Seas. Walf Oversleeps their last chance to put a point on the board here to avoid a sweep at the hands of 14 UTC, who have looked basically unstoppable in this match so far. But this is a type of map where unstoppable doesn't really necessarily mean that much because it's so easy to just break anywhere. And the lead is going to start off on the side of Walf Oversleeps. Triple FC still intact, with a couple of breaks having come in from 14 UTC. Shane Liang and Rex Seas do drop their combo, though, and the lead goes back over to the leaders. However, Iger with a break. Goose Fedora trades it. Rex Seas and Vivace trading their combo as well, so it is Ansenth with the only combo trying to handle Sigi and Noriko by himself, and I just don't think that's going to be feasible. Tricky aim section. We see several misses. Sigi, Vivace, Ansenth, Rex Seas, Shane Liang all missing. Goose Fedora the only combo left. Iger is above him by a little bit. Lead's going to be maintained on the side of 14 UTC. Just about a third of the map left to go. Making it through that long alt pattern is no one but Shane Liang. 120 combo for him. A 1.8 million point score lead for 14 UTC. I think that should be maintainable because Sigi is matching Shane Liang. And that should probably look to be the match here. Sigi finds a break, but so does Shane Liang and Rex Seas. A couple combos on 14 UTC backing him up just in these last seconds, and they are going to hold on to a comfortable lead. And on the back of 4 straight double time picks, little did we know 14 UTC was in fact just a speed abuse team. They win the match 7-0 in dominant fashion. 1 hour for this entire match to be played in a best of 13. That is a pretty remarkably fast match, and just a great performance from 14 UTC. Exactly what you'd expect out of the top team in the tournament. They will head onward in the bracket. They will be facing off next week against the winner of our later quarterfinal today. It'll be either Ramsing or Osu Trueskill, their opponents in the semis. But good job to them on another sweep. Have yet to drop a point in the tournament. And they will send Walf Oversleeps down to the losers bracket, where they will face off against, let's see here, they will face off against the winner of one of the next matches. They'll be facing off against the winner of Colon 3 versus Bad Kittens, so they'll get to know their opponent pretty quickly here. Congratulations to 14 UTC. G2 well played to both teams, and we'll be seeing them both next week. Nobody eliminated here. 14 UTC will be in the winner's semifinals. Walf Oversleeps in that losers bracket round 4.